Now, this 15 is obviously dependent on a lot of things, and it's an Australian 15 currently playing rugby league. Welcome back to the Sports Booth YouTube channel. My name is Luke, and last week we looked into an ANZAC XV if the XV was selected today, as of today, or as of last week, and what the team might look like, barring none injuries, barring nothing major, just what an ANZAC XV would look like. Now what I'm going to do is pick a ANZAC XV for 2025. So basically what we're doing is in 3 years' time, if the British and Irish Lions when they're going to tour Australia, what an ANZAC team would look like there. So to start off with, I'll show you the team I kind of selected here. And this team is a good mixture of, I guess, youth and experience. But there's a few players here that I've kind of bracketed that are definites to leave, and some that are on the cusp. Now, a big thing to kind of think about while making these decisions, who might leave and who might stay, is in 2027, the Australians host the Rugby World Cup. So that may sway a couple of the decisions. What I've kind of done is been quite cautionary and said that a lot of players are moving on. So from this team, I've kind of said, hey, this player, we're going to imagine he does move on before 2025, not really knowing kind of if they are or not. So the players I've selected as 100% moving on, more than likely won't be there after the World Cup, are Aaron Smith, who currently is 33 years old. That time will be 36. Can't imagine him still being here. Richie Mo'unga, there's already talk after the World Cup of him leaving. He's 28 at the moment, so he could still be here theoretically, but just with the chatter, I don't think he'll be here. I've got Marika Kotobeti in there, who's 30 at the moment, will be 33. Yes, a home tournament. I just think on the wing, the way he plays, I don't think he'll be around for the Wallabies then. I think he'll still be playing his trade for a Japanese-based team and making money, but I don't think he'll be selected for the Wallabies. Dave Poreki, current hooker for the Wallabies, just turned 30, will be 33. He may still be in the Wallabies picture. I haven't selected him, and for this, I'm going to say he's not going to be in the picture. James Slipper, the current captain of the Wallabies, 33, will be 36. He wouldn't be, I don't think he'll be around by then. I think he may, my imagination is saying that he'll be over in Europe, earning a decent paycheck instead of playing for the Wallabies. I've got both Samu and Hooper as leaving, 30 and 31 respectively. So Samu will be 33, Hooper 34. I can't imagine them actually being around in 2025. Hooper may still be, and the level he's at, but with everything going on in his life currently and the physical toll that he's gone through in his career, I can't imagine him still being there. And then I've got the obvious Sam Whitelock, 34 at the moment, so he'll be 37. He definitely won't be there. And then Brodie Retallick, I've bracketed 31 at the moment, will be 34. He could be, but I don't think he will be. I think he'll be making money over in Europe or Japan somewhere and won't be playing for the All Blacks. So both the locks gone from the selected team, but there's some kind of guys I've got bracketed. Now, I'm going to not include these players in this team, but I just want it said that they're bracketed, that they could potentially play in a 2025 team. So you could select them in your 2025 team. I'm just saying they've either moved on, taken big money deals, things like that. These players are Scott Barrett, Ardie Savea, Samu Kerevi, Alan Aliatoa, and Anton Lienert-Brown. Now, Scott Barrett's 28, Savea's 29, Kerevi's 29, Aliatoa's 28, and Anton Lienert-Brown's 27. So Lienert-Brown, you could safely say I think he'll be around for one more World Cup. So that's one that I could easily stayed in the team. Could have definitely gone on. I think Ardie Savea stays around. I know he's got a sabbatical, so I imagine he'll be around here. For this example, I'm going to not select Ardie Savea though. I'm going to imagine that he was out injured. He isn't available to be picked just for this team, but I think he will be around there. Same with Kerevi. I think just the World Cup being in Australia, I think he ends up still being picked for Australia, still will be at that high level, so I see Kerevi still making it. Scott Barrett and Aliatoa are both 28, going to be 31. I can't see them not being around for the next World Cup. That they'll be 32, or 32, 33 for Aliatoa, and same with Scott Barrett, but there's that potential. So I've gone with not selecting both of them. So we're going to go for a bit more of a youthful side. But imagine, Scott Barrett could be chucked in there. You could have Aliatoa. We don't know, Will Skelton's 30 at the moment. He could stay. We don't know. Bowden Barrett, I haven't selected him. He's going to be 34. So, we don't actually know what these players are going to be doing, but I've just pictured it that they're not there and what team we can make. So, let's jump into the team. Let's look at, I guess, the current players that are still around. So, Ethan de Groot stays as my number 1. SAMISONI, TAUKEI'AHO stays as my number 2. Pretty basic. They were there in the first selection. That I don't think much is going to change for them not to be there now. It's hard not to select them. Our new number 3 moves from the bench to the starting spot in TANIELA TUPOU. Again, he'll be, I think, 28. He'll be 29 coming into that season in 2025, hopefully hitting his prime, playing good footy. So TANIELA TUPOU in there. We obviously lost our 2 locks in Brodie Retallick and Sam Whitelock, starting locks. And Scott Barrett, I've bracketed as not being there. So we're looking for pretty much 3 new locks. The first of my locking duo is Nick Frost. Now, a fantastic start to the end of year tour has been ended by injury. But just at 23 years of age now, 3 years' time, 26, we're looking at the building blocks of a pretty good second rower. And I'm going to partner him with TUPOU. I think, again, he's had experience in the All Blacks camp. I think that's an uber athletic locking partnership. And I think TUPOU is the next man in line in those locking groups when Scott Barrett, Whitelock and Retallick retire. So TUPOU is obviously the pickup there. In the 6, 7, 8, ideally if Ardie Savea stays, then he's at 8. We've got Valentini at 6 still, and then PAPALII goes into 7 instead of Hooper. Easy change. In the example I'm using with Savea 8, I move Rob Valentini, who's only 24, which is crazy, so he'll be 27 in that time, to 8. I put Dalton PAPALII in there, and then this number 6 may surprise some people. Now, I've got a long list of people who have missed out. IOANE is one who jumps out. Laney Gleeson missing out there. Harry Wilson, Hoskins Tutu, Tom Christie, Dominic Gardner, all of these players missing out because I've selected Cullen Grace as the 6. A perfect option for our third lineouts. Can play lock, has done it before, but I want him at 6. I think he's an eventual All Black. He's only 22 at the moment, will be 25. Absolutely ripping and tearing. So he's in my number 6. So I've gone 6 Cullen Grace, 7 Dalton PAPALII, 8 Rob Valentini. In the 9, I've just gone Tate McDermott starts, 24 at the moment, will be 27, will be the most experienced halfback around at that time. I don't know if Nick White will still be around. Aaron Smith obviously gone. So Tate McDermott starts. The 10 position was quite tough, and it's funny. I know I'm not selecting Anton Leonard-Brown, but I'm selecting someone else who's going to be 30 years old in the 10 jersey. I'm selecting Damian McKenzie, 27 at the moment, building a resume in the first 5 position. We know Mo'unga's moving on, so I've gone with McKenzie. The only real other option is a Bryn Gatland, Josh IOANE, maybe an Aidan Morgan from New Zealand. From Australia's point of view, it's the golden boy and Noah Lolosio. I just feel like Damian McKenzie offers us that a little bit more. Stephen Perifeta was an option, but I went in the way of Damian McKenzie. I think he's an eventual All Black 10 and the 10 for this team. The back line pretty much selects itself, but I think there's going to be a shock at fullback. So 11, Caleb Clarke comes in with no Korobete. Lester Whanganuku was there. Callaway was there on my mind. Pataya, Severeese, all of these guys could easily move into that position and do the wing position very well. So I don't have a worry with who I'm selecting there. I think there's a long list. The outside backs are stacked for years to come. 12, I went Jordie Barrett. Now, 15 obviously opens up. You're probably thinking Will Jordan. 13's RIEKO IOANE. That stays the same. 14 is Will Jordan. Now, this 15 is obviously dependent on a lot of things. And it's an Australian 15 currently playing rugby league. I'm talking about Joseph SUAALII. Now, I know it's controversial to select him. 19 years of age. If Australia want him for the Rugby World Cup, who have to come across in 2025, I think, if he doesn't sign a big term deal anywhere else, I think Australian rugby get their man, get SUAALII to follow in FOLAU's footsteps. This is obviously a big if. There's a lot of things in around that it could not happen, and then I guess I move Jordie Barrett back. Leonard Brown can go in there. Quinta Paya. We can move pieces as well. Will Jordan go to the back. Severeese. Mark Talia goes onto a wing. There's Marky Mark currently about to debut for the Wallabies. So lots of things we could move around if SUAALII doesn't make it, but I'm selecting this team with the idea SUAALII is playing for Australian rugby and playing for the Wallabies in the green and gold. The bench, I guess it's tough and easy. It was tough and easy to make these selections. The reserve hooker, there was 2 men. It was a Safa from the New Zealand side to back up SAMISONI TAUKEI'AHO, and it was Billy Pollard for me. I went Billy Pollard. Now, I love Safa, one of my favourite players. But I've gone with Billy Pollard. I think he's an excitement machine, athlete. So Billy Pollard is my reserve hooker. Reserve first prop, Angus Bell, easy selection. He comes in for James Slipper, who will clearly make way by this time. Second reserve prop, I've gone Fletcher Newell from the All Blacks. Has debuted this season. A very good prop for the future for the All Blacks, and I think easily takes in that spot. In the reserve lock, obviously we lost all of our locks, so I was thinking there, and an easy selection actually came, and I tried to decide if I wanted to start this player with either Tupou, Nick Frost, or get him from the bench. IZACK RODDA, he's only 26, has done his time everywhere, battling an injury at the moment. That's why there's not a lot of noise about him, but a fantastic ball player on his day. He'll be around 29-year-old at the top of his game, I imagine. The reserve Lucy was one of the tougher positions to kind of pick. You've got so much talent there. I already named a bunch, but Duplessis Creefy, you've got Blackadder, you've got Tom Christie, Langy Gleeson, Harry Wilson. So many there. I went with a specialist as a 7 reserve because I know Dalton can play everywhere else. So I went with Fraser McReight, 23-year-old, will be 26, talented individual. The second coming of Michael Hooper. So I think reserve halfback, we obviously lost Aaron Smith. Tate McDermott got put into the halfback ranks. I wasn't overly impressed with any of the halfbacks coming out of Australia at the moment, but I'm sure there will be some coming through. I've gone with either out of the 3 kind of names, hot names in New Zealand rugby have coming up at the moment. Cam Roigard, FOLAU Fakatava, Courts Ratama. I've gone with FOLAU Fakatava. Just the All Blacks selected him. They've obviously got him ranked number 1 at the moment. If he can stay away from the injury bug he seems to be running into, he's the number 1 reserve, the top choice for the All Blacks, so he'll slot in there. But Cam Roigard, fantastic season for Counties Manukau in the NPC, and so same with Courts Ratama for the Chiefs in Super Rugby last season. The reserve centre and kind of backs for playmaking backs was a tough one, but I settled on it in the end, and I settled with 2 players. I went with Ikitau from, obviously, the Wallabies. He's only 24. He'll be 27 there. Can play 13 pretty easily, and can even do 12 if need be. Has been so fantastic for the Wallabies. Has been, I think, the most consistent piece of the Wallabies at the moment, and easy selection kind of there. Then it was kind of like the first 5 fullback wing playmaker. Who are we going to come here? And this guy just jumps off the page. Yeah, he's an exciting young talent. Ruben Love, 21 years at the moment, will be 24. Is just a player that I think you need in this team. Can slot in if Damian McKenzie goes out at first 5. Can play fullback. So I went with Ruben Love as my bench. So there's my 23. Now I legitimately did a spreadsheet, worked out all the players, and then decided my team. I have so many players that I had a second team. So I'm going to quickly run through kind of what that second team ended up looking like. And I know there's a handful of players coming out. Our NPC MVP from the sports booth, Peter Larkey, I didn't even consider, but that 3 years' time is a long time. There's some talents coming out of the New South Wales Academy at the moment. So we got to, there's players like that I haven't even heard of yet that are cracking it and may crack this team. But for now, this is kind of my second team of the 2025 era. Tamatai Williams, to start off with the prop, Asafa Amor, Harry Johnson-Holmes, Zach Gallagher of New Zealand, Sam Dari of New Zealand, Dominic Gardner, who's obviously got massive reps, started both the games for the All Blacks XV at 6, Tom Christie, Hoskins Satutu, Cam Roigard, Noah Lolasio, Lester Whanganuku at the 11, Quinta Pyre at 12, Jordan Patire at 13, Severis at 14, and Sean Stevenson at 15. Then we got Brody McAllister on the bench, Aidan Ross and Zane Nogor, I probably pronounced that terribly wrong, as the bench props. Josh Lord as the reserve lock, and IOANE as the reserve flanker. Courts Ratama as the reserve halfback. Izzy Parisi as one of the reserve centres, and Callaway as the reserve outside back. And you just sit there and you go, man, that's a team that can that can just do as well as that first team I named. Like, there's so much talent at the moment around there, so much depth. That I've still left players off that I can't believe I've left off. Yeah, in the end, I've narrowed it down to the 23. Obviously, there's a couple of movers and shakers. I think Artie Sevilla will still be around. I think Karevi's probably still around. But yeah, I'd love to hear your opinion, your thoughts on the team I've selected, who you think might stick around for it. Could this team beat 2025 British Irish Lions team? Love to hear your opinions. Let me know if you want to hear any more videos, any other ideas you've got for videos you'd like to hear my opinion on. For now, thank you for joining me. We will see you next time. Goodbye.